Hi, welcome to my new video. Today I'll be telling you about the books I read in January, so hope you enjoy. Also, sorry about my hair, it's a bit long and a bit messy. I tried to swoosh it, but it didn't want to comply. Oop, this is everything I read in January. So, the first book I read in January was Again But Better by Christine Riccio. It's a study abroad romance in London between our main character, who is here on the front cover. Her name is Shane, and then we have Pilot Pence. Follows them in their adventures in London on their study abroad. Overall, I would say this is a 3-star read to me. I gave it 4 stars on my Instagram, and then I talked to Jayla at Lala Loves Lit about it and in the comments, and she kind of said some stuff and I was like, actually yeah, that makes sense, I kind of agree and felt that too. So it brought it down to a 3-star read, so blame her. Okay, one thing I'd like to say is, look at this cover. This cover is so pretty. One of the biggest issues with this was there was no distinction between Shane, the main character, and the author Christine. It felt very much like she was writing like a fan fiction based on herself, if that makes sense. Which is not necessarily bad, but it was kind of weird to read, knowing that everything Shane does and is basically Christine, even down to their appearance. So that was a bit weird. But it is her debut novel, so hopefully her new book, Better Together, will improve upon that. The next book I read was My Hero Academia Vigilantes, which is a manga, Japanese manga, and it's a spin-off of My Hero Academia. I know I enjoyed it, but I don't think it was as good as My Hero Academia. But yeah, so the plot of this is basically superpowers are like very popular. They're like 80% of the world has quirks, and there's like heavy laws, so you have to have a license to be a hero. This one follows a character whose quirk isn't necessarily powerful, so he can't really become a hero, but he still wants to do good, so hence the title, he becomes a vigilante. It was fun. I'm gonna stick with 3 stars. The third book I read was Carol Ann Duffy's The World's Wife. Now this is a book I read for English literature coursework. This is a poetry collection. Basically what she does is she takes a lot of female protagonists or like side characters in myths and stories, and she writes from their perspective. Yeah, it's good. So I'd probably say another 3 stars. A 3-star read again. The 4th, 5th and 6th book I reread were the Heartstopper webcomics. Definitely 5-star reads. If you haven't read these, go check them out. They are incredible. Alice Oseman, the author, does such a great job capturing the young love of the 2 boys, Nick and Charlie. We start Heartstopper and Charlie's got like an abusive boyfriend. It's all bad. He was outed the year earlier and everyone was horrible to him, so he's kind of like in a rough place. And then Nick comes along, and I won't say any more. It's kind of obvious what happens even from the covers. It's adorable. So check them out. If you don't want to buy these, go download an app called Tapas. Search Heartstopper and it's on there and you can read it for free, and it goes way past volume 3. I'm not sponsored, don't worry. The 7th book I read is The Best of Miranda. So if you don't know, Miranda Hart is a English comedian. I've been watching her show for years. I even have the DVDs. So this is basically a bind-up of 6 of the episode scripts. And then it's also got like introductions telling you about the process. It's also got some fun little pages talking about behind the scenes, which were fun. Some of the scripts have like little with like little notes on. 3 stars, best to Miranda. It's good. The 8th book I read was The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse, and it's by Charlie Mackey. The story behind this is I just read all of it in Tesco. It's not that impressive. It's not as impressive as it sounds. It's basically just a picture book with some motivational, sweet quotes in it. Art is so cute, and then like, look at that. This has some really nice quotes in it. I finished it, and instead of putting it back on the shelf and be like, bye, I came and I was like, no actually, even though I've read it all, I will buy it for £9 that I didn't have to spend, but I did. But it was worth it. It's a good book. I really enjoyed it. It's so sweet. I love it. It's so cute. Yeah. Here we go. 4-star read. It was very good. I would recommend. So the best book I read this month was Law by one of my favourite authors, Alexander Bracken, which you can see. I have a little shelf here for her books. Oh, it's gone too far. Ooh, the camera moved. Definitely a 5-star read. It was so good. I enjoyed every second of it. My plot summary is, so hundreds, thousands years ago, the Greek gods tried to overthrow Zeus. He stopped the rebellion and he cursed them all. Every 7 years, they will become mortal for 7 days. And they have to wander the streets and try and survive. Now, I hear you saying, survive what? They're hunted by ancient ancestors of Greek heroes. So it's kind of like Game of Thrones in the sense there's big houses and dynasties. And these ones in this book descend from Greek heroes like Hercules, Achilles, Perseus. And they hunt down the gods. And if they manage to kill one of these Greek gods, they will gain their immortality and power. Our main character, Law, is the last, well, one of the last Perseuses, and her family were murdered in the last Aegon. So she lives with Miles in New York. She's trying to stay away from the Aegon. She doesn't want to be part of it anymore. But then on the first day of this new Aegon, she finds Athena, one of the last original gods, bleeding out on her doorway. And yeah, that's the plot. Definitely a 5-star read. Please go check this book out. It's amazing. I have both a non-spoiler and a spoiler review on my Instagram, so go check them out. So the next book I read, which I did think would be my last book of January, was David Attenborough's A Life on Our Planet. For me, I would say 3 stars. I didn't not like it, it just wasn't what I expected. I thought he was going to talk about his experiences with nature and climate change in those years, but it was very heavily scientific. Well, I mean, he is a climatologist, so I don't know what I expected, but it was full of science, and I was just so bored, and I did manage to drag my way through it, but I wasn't happy about it. There were a few stories from his life when he worked with the BBC to make Blue Planet, which is one of his more famous things, and some of that, but that was like the first 50 pages, and then that kind of like stopped, and it was more about how rainforests work. It was interesting, but I learnt it all in GCSE geography. So that was like the first part of the book, and then he talks about climate change, which was more interesting but still heavily scientific. And then he talks about his vision for the future, but he talks about what we can do to help the environment. My favourite part, reading about what we can do to save this environment, and that it is still possible if we try. Check this out if you want a really scientific read. Don't check it out if you're just interested in David Attenborough. Check it out if you're interested in climate change, because it's more heavily on that. The second last book I read this month was Lives of Saints by Libardugo. Look, it matches my nail varnish. I have mixed thoughts. books, I would say 3 stars again. The art in this book is so good. The art is like probably the best thing in this book. The last book I read in January was They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, and I loved this. It was so cute. It was so adorable. I loved every second of it. Well, there were some bits that felt like could be cut and it wouldn't really make a difference, but apart from that, I loved it. It was so good. It was so good. Definitely go check this out. It's definitely Adam's best work. Go read it. So they're the books that I read in January with my messy mop of hair and my messy makeup. But I hope you enjoyed. I would like to know if you've read any of these books. If you have, let me know what you thought down in the comments. Remember to like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!